There's a bitter truth many young men don't want to face, and it's this: younger women are not just looking at abs, sneakers, or Instagram followers. They are drawn to something deeper, something you can't buy at the mall or fake on social media. They are looking at presence. They are looking at stability. They are looking at a man who makes them feel safe, grounded, and seen. And often, that's why younger women choose older men. It's not always about money. It's not always about luxury. Sometimes it's about the energy a man carries, the way he listens without rushing, the way he speaks without seeking validation, the way he holds space without needing to prove himself every second. Young men, I know it stings. You ask yourself, why not me? Why can't she see my worth? But here's the reality. You may be so busy trying to impress that you forget the power of simply being. Women aren't running to older men because they're perfect. They're running to them because they've cultivated lessons that you haven't yet embraced. And today, I'll break it down for you. Not to shame you, but to wake you up. Because the same qualities that draw women to older men are qualities you can develop right now. Young man, let me tell you this. Women are not always impressed by the show you put on. They're impressed by the energy you bring into a room. Many young men make the mistake of thinking dating is about performance. You dress the part, you talk fast, you flex on social media. You try to show her you're funnier, louder, richer, stronger. But do you know what she feels? Exhausted. Because your entire energy is wrapped up in trying to be seen rather than simply being. Older men win here because they've already lived through that stage. They're not out to prove themselves anymore. When they walk into a room, they're not seeking validation. They know who they are, and that quiet confidence is magnetic. Women can feel it instantly. Presence is not about words. It's not about possessions. It's about the calm assurance that radiates when a man is at peace with himself. When you're present, you don't need to perform. You can look a woman in the eye and actually hear what she's saying, instead of thinking of the next clever line to impress her. You can sit across from her in silence, and she'll still feel your strength, because your energy is steady, not desperate. Young men often drain women by overperforming. But presence replenishes her. It makes her feel safe, grounded, and respected. That's why younger women lean towards older men. They're not dazzled by constant noise. They're anchored by steady presence. So ask yourself, are you living in presence or performance? Do you walk into a room trying to make people notice you? Or do you walk in already knowing your worth? Because when you shift from performance to presence, you stop chasing and start attracting. And here's the beauty. You don't need to be 40 to build this quality. You can start now. Learn to slow down. Breathe before you speak. Listen more than you talk. Carry yourself like you don't need to be anywhere else but here. That's the essence of masculine presence. And once you embody it, women will notice you without you lifting a finger. One of the greatest reasons younger women find older men appealing is this: they are less reactive. They don't break at the slightest inconvenience. They don't explode over small things. They've lived enough life to know that storms come and storms go. And that calmness, that emotional maturity, feels like shelter to a woman. Many young men struggle here. Maybe you've been ghosted and you lash out on social media. Maybe she cancels plans and you go off in anger. Maybe she disagrees with you, and suddenly you feel attacked and you fight to win the argument instead of seeking to understand. What does this say to a woman? It says you don't yet have control over your emotions. And if you can't control you, how can she ever trust you to be her anchor? Older men, on the other hand, have usually learned that not every battle is worth fighting. They understand that silence can be stronger than shouting, that patience can win more than pride. They don't need to win every argument because they value peace more than proving a point. That's why women feel more emotionally safe with them. Emotional maturity is not about being cold or robotic. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about owning them, managing them, and expressing them in a way that builds connection instead of tearing it down. A mature man can admit when he's hurt without turning it into rage. He can express disappointment without belittling the other person. He can stand firm without crushing the other's spirit. Ask yourself, young man, how do you handle pressure? How do you respond when life doesn't go your way? Do you fall apart or do you adapt? Do you curse the world or do you pause, breathe, and find a solution? Because women are watching, they're not only drawn to the man who makes them laugh, but also to the man who can remain grounded when life gets heavy. And here's the truth. You don't need to wait until you're older to master this. You can practice it now. Start by slowing down before reacting. When your emotions rise, take a breath. Don't text in anger. Don't argue to destroy. Lead with calm. Lead with clarity. Lead with emotional maturity. Because the man who can hold his emotions can hold her heart. Let's be real, young man. One of the strongest reasons younger women are drawn to older men is stability. And I'm not just talking about money in the bank, though that plays its part. I'm talking about a man who knows who he is, where he's going, and what he stands for. See, when you're unstable, women can feel it. Maybe you jump from one job to another, from one dream to the next, never really committing. Maybe one week you want to build a business, the next week you're lost in video games. The week after that, you're back to complaining about how unfair life is. That inconsistency sends a clear message. I don't know who I am yet. And no matter how handsome, how funny, or how strong you are, instability makes her feel unsafe. Older men often have this figured out. They've been through their trial and error phase. They've failed, tried again, and found a path that feels true. So when they sit across from a woman, there's no frantic energy, no confusion about their purpose. Their direction is steady, and that steadiness is attractive. It whispers, you can trust me. I know where I'm going, and you'll be safe with me on the journey. But here's the truth, you don't have to be older to build stability. You can start right now. Stability means discipline, keeping your word, following through, building routines that ground you. Direction means clarity, defining your goals, setting a vision for your future, and taking real steps toward it every day. Women respect men who are moving with intention, even if they're still at the starting line. Ask yourself, what does my life look like right now? Am I building something, or am I drifting? Do I know my mission, or am I letting the world decide it for me? Because women aren't just attracted to the man you are today. They're attracted to the man you're becoming. Young man, if you want her to look at you the way she looks at him, stop floating. Plant your feet, build consistency, get clear on who you are and where you're going. Stability and direction don't just attract women, they transform you. They give you power, peace, and respect. And when you have that, women will naturally want to join your journey. One of the most underrated reasons younger women are drawn to older men is simple. They feel heard, truly heard. And you might think, but I listen too. No, many young men don't listen. They wait for their turn to speak. They're so busy proving a point, cracking a joke, or defending their ego that they miss what she's actually saying. Older men usually have learned the art of listening, not the kind where you nod while scrolling on your phone, but the kind where you're present. They're not rushing to give an answer or flex their knowledge. They're not debating every word. They listen with their whole body, eye contact, stillness, patience. And that makes a woman feel valued. Younger men often mistake listening as weakness. They think if they don't speak up quickly, they'll lose respect. But here's the truth, silence can be more powerful than words. When you listen without ego, you tell her what you feel matters, what you think is safe with me. That builds trust, and trust builds attraction. Think about it. When was the last time you truly listened to someone without interrupting, without planning your reply in your head, without getting defensive? Women can sense when you're listening to understand versus listening to argue. One makes her open her heart. The other makes her close it. But you don't need to be older to master this. You can start now. Next time she speaks, pause. Don't rush to fix her problem or prove her wrong. Don't make it about you. Just listen. Reflect back what she said. Ask her if you understood right. Let her feel seen before you jump in with solutions. Because here's the secret, women aren't always looking for answers. Many times, they're looking for a safe space to be themselves. And a man who can give her that space, without letting his ego hijack the moment, will always stand out. So young man, if you want to rise above the noise, learn to listen without ego. The man who listens becomes the man she trusts. And the man she trusts becomes the man she gives her heart to. Every woman, deep down, craves a sense of safety, not just physical safety, but emotional and spiritual safety. And this is one of the reasons younger women often lean towards older men. They radiate protective energy. Now, let's be clear. Protective energy is not about being controlling or acting like her bodyguard. It's not about fighting every man who looks her way or showing off dominance. That's insecurity, not protection. True protective energy is about creating a space where she feels she can soften, be herself, and let her guard down because she knows you've got her. Older men often embody this naturally. They don't need to flex or puff their chest. Their calmness says it all. They know how to provide a sense of order. They don't throw her into chaos, they pull her out of it. They don't provoke drama, they shield her from it. That stability makes a woman feel secure. But many young men get this wrong. Instead of offering protection, they create instability. They flirt with other women to prove their worth. They raise their voice when insecure. They play games that make her question where she stands. That doesn't make her feel safe. It makes her feel like she needs to protect herself from you. Protective energy, young man, is about leadership. It's about saying, you can rest when you're with me. It's about handling challenges with calm strength. When life gets heavy, you don't add to the weight, you lighten it. When she's afraid, you don't dismiss her feelings, you reassure her. When she shares her dreams, you don't tear them down, you encourage them. And here's the truth, you don't have to wait until you're older to build this. Start now. Be dependable. Keep your promises. Control your temper. Be the calm in her storm, not another storm she has to survive. Show her that when she's with you, she doesn't have to be on guard. She can exhale. Because women bloom in the presence of safety. And the man who can offer that safety, not through fear, not through dominance, but through true protective energy, will always be the man she treasures. At the heart of it all, younger women are drawn to older men because of this self-assurance. A quiet, unshakable confidence in their masculinity. They're not constantly proving they're men. They know they are men. Many young men miss this. They confuse masculinity with dominance, control, or competition. They think being a man means raising their voice, flexing their strength, or trying to outshine a woman at every turn. But that's not self-assurance. That's insecurity in disguise. Older men often understand something deeper. Masculinity is not about overpowering women. It's about complementing them. They aren't threatened by a woman's independence, career, or voice. They don't feel less of a man because she's shining. Why? Because they know her light doesn't dim theirs. Their masculinity is not fragile. It's steady. When a woman feels that kind of self-assurance, she relaxes. She doesn't have to fight for space. She doesn't have to tiptoe around his ego. She can be feminine, expressive, and free because his masculinity doesn't crumble when she shows her strength. Instead, it balances her. It anchors her. Young man, ask yourself, do you compete with women or do you complement them? Do you feel the need to dominate? Or are you confident